Coming to you from sunny California and the Great White North. Get ready. We are breaking down the obstacles on the Armchair Ninja Podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Armchair Ninja Podcast. It is Friday, December 1st, 2017. My name is Rich, and joining me this week is Bijan. How you making out?
Relieved, man. It's December 1st, and I must say, winter has finally come to Southern California.
Oh, the brutal, infamous Southern California winter. How are you bearing this awful temperature that you're
Dude, it's
subjected
cold.
to?
It was like 70 degrees today. It was freezing, so I don't know. Like, everybody had jackets on and everything. I'm wearing my beanie on my bald head. It was nice, but it was like 90 degrees for like the past 3 weeks. So I am really, really happy to finally have chilling, freezing weather.
All right, freezing, yeah, freezing. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to do the conversion in my head. I think it would be roughly 20 degrees here, Fahrenheit.
Yeah, you have fun with that.
Yeah.
I would literally be like an icicle.
Yeah, I'd like to say, like to be all the tough, Canadian, I don't care, it's winter, we can deal with the cold. Yeah, we're a little wimpy right about now because we're trying to adjust ourselves. So it gets a little hard when it first starts getting colder and starts dropping below freezing. So it's all right. You get used to it.
I don't know. I'm enjoying the weather, finally. I can wear my jacket, so I'm good. And
you are not wearing a jacket in 70-degree weather. Tell me you are not wearing a jacket right now.
I wore a jacket all day, and I will for the rest of this winter.
There are literally people that work in shorts at freezing temperatures. We totally do not have the same experience at all.
Yeah, I'm good on that. No. I feel like if I ever visited Canada, I would take one step off the plane, feel the weather, and I would be like, nope, and go right back in that plane. And I'd be like, you take me home right now.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I think that would happen. And if it was over 100 degrees, I'd do the same thing when I landed in San Diego. So that's probably fair.
Just craziness.
All right. So this episode, we are going to be covering, going way back for those that have been with us for a while, to Jump City, Seattle, episodes 3 and 4. I really thought we had done more episodes of Jump City, Seattle than this. We're going to do 3 and 4.
Yeah, I did too. With that said, I wanna let everybody know, because I'm sure half of you are like, "What on earth is Jump City, Seattle?" We're gonna cover it just basic. We're not gonna cover it like a show, like an ANW or anything. We're not gonna go run by run. We're just gonna talk about basically the points that we got from the show. Because for a lot of you that aren't aware, Jump City, Seattle was a start for a lot of our top American Ninja Warriors that we've seen on the show, like Flip Rodriguez, JJ Woods, Drew Drechsel. These were the first times we're seeing these guys, and they all started from a parkour background. So we're just going to talk more about that, and also Levi Meeuwenberg, the legend, the G. So it's going to be interesting and fun with that. But we also got some other stuff, right, Rich?
Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about Ultimate Beastmaster, some of the things we've learned about what's coming up this season, and we'll talk very briefly about the Movement Lab New Jersey and what's been going on there. So they've done some very extensive YouTube videos on that.
Before I even say anything, I just want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts rewatching it from here on out? The 2 episodes, let's just combine them all. How'd you feel?
I liked it. I was a little worried. I started it back up and I thought, oh man, we're on episode 3. This is going to be a lot to cover in the next 3 episodes, which, I don't know. I was a little off on it. I was like, okay, so what was the scoring again? I couldn't remember anything. And I instantly got pretty sucked back in. This is a scary, crazy sport to be airing on TV.
Yeah, we're talking about guys 20 feet in the air on a little beam balancing, and if they fall, I mean, I'm gonna get into that in a bit, but they're doing some incredibly dangerous stuff. They are doing flips off of the tops of I don't know, garbage trucks or something like that, and they're just doing all these flips, flying all around, going through monkey bars at breakneck speeds, man. I mean, everything you guys imagine parkour and freerunning to be from all the movies and stuff, I mean, they are doing that kind of stuff.
And thankfully they're doing it in a nice, dry, safe place, not, somewhere constantly wet and slippery like Seattle. It's the worst place to possibly do parkour. I know that's kind of the birthplace of it, for at least what I get from this show. is that it's kind of like a training grounds, or like one of the initial spots that it became popular. But Seattle, really, everything's wet. Even in the show, everything's wet and slippery. Like they're slipping off of things as we're watching the show.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It adds difficulty, but it's already a difficult sport. And at that point, it just gets scary. Like, half this show, I'm just covering my eyes. I'm like, if that guy slips, he's dead. I mean, just think about it, Rich. Answer me this. You fall from 20 feet, and you land on your feet. What happens?
Depending how you land, you could break an ankle. You could, these guys know how to fall from that distance. But yeah, if you fall wrong, it can happen.
They know how to fall from, like, a distance of, like, 20 feet. Nobody's being like, oh, I know how to totally heal myself falling 20 feet from the sky. These dudes land on their back or their head, they're done.
Yeah,
they're done. There's no padding, guys. There's no ANW water thing that they're falling into. There's cement. That's it. Here's
an alley. Here's some scaffolding. Have fun, guys. We'll see you if you make it through the other end.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro. And, we got at a certain point, once again, like ANW and everything else, these guys look superhuman, and you start to, I guess, take for granted the danger and the difficulty involved with this. But we got a wake-up call real quick of what an error can do and, like, a fall can do. And it was not a big fall, but we had somebody fall this episode, or the second episode, and it was from a very small, one of the smaller ledges. And, Rich, why don't you go through what happened there?
You want to get right into the meat of it. Okay, yeah. So Levi Meeuwenberg, for those that haven't been around for a long time with us, Levi was I'm sure I'm going to get email about making this comparison. He was the Drew Drechsel of the early episodes of ANW. Right? He was the top competitor. He was the guy to beat. He was the guy everyone was watching, expecting to take down the whole course. And Levi took a spill off when practicing one of these moves. Took a spill off one of the scaffoldings, and he broke his wrist. And he's kind of lucky that that's all it was. Like, if you took a wrong spill off of any of these ledges or any of these rails, they had a beam across the alley, and I feel like it's something that almost wouldn't even fly on TV now. Like, how do you let people run across a beam like 30 feet up or whatever the heck that height was that they were running?
I don't know, man. It's troubling by the fact that a simple slip can do that, and everybody got, like, really worried for him. But it just once again brought to emphasize, like, they go another story up for a lot of the runs, and then the freaking, like, hosts are all like, oh, they're going slow over this little tiny beam that's 20 something feet in the air, and I'm like, yeah, go slow, don't just take it willy-nilly. Like, I'm serious. I think they want somebody to die, man, because I'm like,
yeah, a little slow. If someone takes, I swear to God, if you haven't seen this episode, I swear, if you imagine like a narrow beam 3 stories up, and someone pauses for, I don't know, what would you say, a quarter of a second, maybe half of a second?
Yeah, they're going insanely fast and not fast enough.
Oh, they really need to speed up. They're really taking their time. Like, are you crazy? These people are running across a beam, like across this massive gap. Like, unbelievable what they were doing. And they were still, getting at them for not running as fast as Levi or some of these other earlier competitors had done.
I don't know, man. And it's not a beam where it's like, oh, a foot across, where you can like place both your feet. It's like a small beam where maybe you can get like a foot on it. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's almost like the width of a slack line, y'all. And these guys are, they're all taking their time, I guess, and I'm just like, I was so terrified that somebody was going to fall from that thing. And once again, it makes it cool by the fact that, cool's the wrong word. How do I say this? It makes it invigorating, right? I guess by the fact that they are able to do these feats with such a high degree of danger and such like, there's no threshold for error, right? Else you can really hurt yourself. But yet they still do it. And I don't know. Once again, I I have a feeling there's a very good reason there's only one season of the show.
Well, that's the thing, and sometimes I feel that way about Team Ninja Warrior and some of these other competitions. Like, they need to really balance out safety with the competitive spirit and the entertainment value of the show, right? Like, as much as I love watching them on Team Ninja Warrior, I want them to make the course as safe as they can. I don't want to see anybody injure themselves. It's not entertaining to watch someone hurt themselves, right? We got to keep that balance. So I feel like this show really crossed over that line very far to the entertainment side and forget safety. Let's throw it right out the window. There's no safety lines. There's no safety nets. Let's just let these lunatics, which I love parkour. It is fantastic, but it is a crazy sport to let people just run and race on. Like, parkour is crazy in itself, right? The fact that they're doing these things quickly and as efficiently as they can through these obstacles, but to make them race on it is not a great idea.
Yeah. I mean, it just reminds me back of Team Ninja Warrior last season with Jessica Britton, where, like, I was genuinely worried for her the entire episode when she was looking like really in bad shape, and it wasn't entertaining or fun, and I was just really worried, and I felt bad, really, and I just wanted to go through my screen and hug her and be like, it's gonna be okay, you know. But that's just a microcosm of the level that we're seeing on this.
So taking a look at episode 3, we're not like Bijan said, we're not going to go through run by run. It's a little too much. But to kind of give you an idea of the format, I kind of like this format of the round robin where every team faces each other, and then the top team moves on to the finals, and the bottom team falls off. So there's only 4 teams. You get to know them a little better. You get to know the people on the teams better. And they do like a speed round where they just got to get through the course and hit these fly zones as fast as they can. They've got to hit certain points on the course. And then they do a freestyle round where the idea is to use the course in whatever way they want in a more freestyle fashion, but they score better points for creativity and flow, like just basically how the whole feel of the vibe of their run is, which is a little subjective, but you can really feel it when you watch a show, even if you're not an expert on it, like, which I'm certainly not. You can watch it, you can feel how they're moving through the course. Sometimes it feels like they're moving from one obstacle to the next or one location to the next very smoothly, and sometimes it feels like they're just kind of magnetically or robotically moving from place to place.
Yeah, if you've ever watched the X Games, BMX, skateboarding, anything like that, like, you know what we're talking about in terms of that, where there's a big difference, and also that subjectivity. You know, the judges know what they're talking about and know what they're looking for.
Yeah, speaking of subjectivity, and actually, I keep thinking of BMX and skateboarding because they name these things. I can't tell what the heck they're talking about. Like, oh, they did a Webster into a backwards, to whatever. I can't follow what the heck they're talking about half the time. But you can see it, right? You can see these dynamic moves they're doing, and I feel like I'm appreciating on a very superficial level, but there's a whole lot more going on that I'm not catching.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of flips. It would be hard, like, I'd have to explain every single thing that we're seeing, but there's bars, they're flying through bars, they're doing flips, they're doing giant gaps and laches, and just, like, imagine jumping from one rooftop to, like, another rooftop and, like, a big distance. Like, they are doing some crazy cool stuff, very dangerous, and, a lot of these guys are injuring themselves doing it. It's a tale of 4 teams. There's 2 teams that are more of the elder experienced ones in Tempest and Tribe. Tribe is a veteran group, probably the oldest. They're very fast and all about flow, but they're very, very, very safe. They're not going to do, it's kind of like that old vet, or old veteran from any sport where it's like, I know what I'm capable of and I know what I'm not capable of, and I'm not about to injure myself doing some dumb crap. And Tempest is more of the technical guys. They're the Joe Morosky's, I guess. And that's led by Levi Meeuwenberg and Brian Orosco and a bunch of the big names. Now, with that said, there's also 2 young guns trying to make their names for themselves, which is Miami Free Running, which is the team with JJ Woods and Flip Rodriguez, and they're more like the very fast but young guys. They're kind of like the babies, I guess, right? And there's also this team called Rogue, where it's just a bunch of like random free runners that have made the name for themselves individually, and they're all on a team. That's where like we get Drew Drechsel and a few others. And they're all going to be like really good individually, but getting the teamwork and everything together is going to be hard for them, I'd have to imagine. But that's kind of the tale of what the teams are. What's really interesting is Tribe, most known for speed. And we got a round here with Rogue racing against Tribe. Tribe loses. What happened?
Yeah, it's a weird thing. I really like Frosti. Frosti is like the leader of the Tribe team.
So much personality.
If you go back to like episode like 89, 90 of our podcast, you'll hear us talk about Frosti. And I had forgotten how much I like this guy. He's got a lot of personality. I'd love to see him run A&W, actually. I think he would be great.
He has.
Has he?
Yeah. So Frosti's run A&W about 2 or 3 seasons, and earlier seasons, I think like seasons 3, 4, and 5 or something like that. Frosti is brimming with personality. He actually became famous because I'm sure you guys, some of your Survivor fans out there recognize the name. He was actually a contestant on Survivor first, back in, I believe, 2007 or something like that. But yeah, Frosti Zernow, and he became the leader of Tribe, and he's, in my opinion, probably the best on the entire show. I'd put like Frosti right up there with Levi Meeuwenberg in terms of like the top dogs. He's very fast, and like his thing is flow. There is nobody that moves like him. He's kind of like Avatar, the water, like in the water bending. This guy just like contorts in crazy different ways and is always moving, and it's just crazy to see. But incredible personality, incredible talent. And I don't know, this guy is just amazing. And it's crazy to think that he's still not competing on A&W because he's still incredibly talented. And I'll get into it later, Rich, but remind me to, or just remember to ask about what Frosti is now. Like, what's he doing, I guess?
Okay. But yeah, so in episode 3, we had Tribe versus Rogue, as Bijan mentioned. So basically, like Frosti, if you want to keep it straight in your head, it's easy to think of like Frosti versus Drew, right? So the young upstart Drew versus Frosti, the grizzled veteran of like, I don't know. I mean, parkour had not been around very long at this point. Some of these veteran teams had only been together a few years at that point. So I guess it depends on your perspective on what's considered a veteran. They did have some experience together. They were very talented, but they just didn't quite put it together. Like they when you look at their speed run, Tribe was just behind the whole time. They spent way too much, quote unquote, they spent way too much time on the beam because, God forbid, this person running across a 3rd-story beam spent 1.5 seconds or whatever he spent on that beam. Just didn't quite hold up to Rogue, who were the young people who thought they were invincible, who just ran through the whole course like it was nothing.
Well, this is the tale. It's the course. This was an incredibly dangerous course. Tribe is a team that's incredibly conservative when it comes to their approach to free running. They're going to do what they know how to do, but as soon as you put them in an uncomfortable position in terms of danger, they're gonna start to sweat a little bit. Whereas Rogue, the young guns, they're just gonna go for broke. They don't care. Like, you know, as you said, they're the young guns that have probably never hurt themselves to a degree, too much of a degree yet. So they're
Tribe was old enough and smart enough to know that this course was dangerous and to take their time slightly. And Rogue was like, whatever, we're invincible. We're 20.
Yeah. So I mean that's what happened. Luckily, nobody really hurt themselves a little too much in the race. But yeah, once it came to the tricks, I mean, Tribe is known for their speed. They're not known for their tricks. I mean, they're very conservative on their approach and everything. And it was kind of embarrassing to watch where you had one team, Rogue, where they're just doing all these crazy flips, jumps off of these really high ledges and all this stuff. And then you have Tribe, where there's literally a run with this guy, and he doesn't even do one single jump off of anything. He literally just stays on the ground and like does a bunch of flips and like spins around on the top of boxes and stuff like that, you know? Where he's like, I don't know. I don't blame him. Like, I wouldn't be doing any of that crazy stuff either. But it was just crazy to see the incredible divergence in styles between the two teams.
Yeah, freestyle was not their strong suit at all. Rogue just like totally stole the show. You had these young guys that were just like given a chance to just show off, like show us what you can do, and you have like a young Drew Drechsel. Can you imagine, like, for those that like watch ANW, which if you're listening to us, I'm sure you do, imagine Drew younger and a little more given like free reign to do whatever he could come up with, and that's pretty much what you saw, right? He says like a 12-foot front flip off of a truck, like a laid out back flip off an incredibly high railing near the end. Like he had a couple of little slip ups, but like just imagine him putting it all on the line, and that's what you saw. Like there was no competition really. I mean, Frosti did great. Frosti came second only to Drew. Yeah, Frosti was great.
Drew had the highest score, and Drew, like, in the package, people were hinting, like, Drew is somebody to watch. Like, people even knew. Drew was, like, a young up-and-comer that's, like, really talented. So, even at a young age, like, people had their sights out on Drew. People knew he was going to be a star. I don't know if they knew he was going to be a star in a different sport, because A&W was still very new at this time. But, yeah, he always had talent. And Frosti, I mean, I don't know. I feel like Frosti Zernow, like, if he was maybe a little bit younger, and I say that because I think he's still young, man, but I think if he started training A&W at a younger age, he probably would have done very well in the sport.
Yeah, no doubt. It was really entertaining. He had an 8.4. Drew got an... Oh, actually, no. Sorry, my mistake. I'm looking now at the scores. Dylan Baker from Rogue actually got the highest score at 8.7. Drew got second from Rogue at 8.5, and Frosti was third at 8.4. So yeah, as great as his run was, it was actually third place. Yeah, it was all good. I thoroughly enjoyed the episode. I haven't seen a bad episode of the show. It's really worth watching for those that haven't seen it before. I am totally new to it myself, so it's all new to me. It's worth watching. Check it out. It's on YouTube. You can check it, and I'll link it in the show notes for those that haven't seen it. But moving on to episode 4, this is where we bring in some of the old school A&W people, Levi Meeuwenberg and Brian Orosco. Tempest versus Miami Freerunning. That would be Flip Rodriguez and JJ Woods, some of the most familiar faces for those that are the uninitiated, right? So it's very entertaining to see a young Flip and young JJ. Or as they call him, Jared.
Yeah, how many people do you think know that JJ Woods started in free running? I mean, you just look at the dude, you're like, maybe he started in like football or something. Like,
yeah,
I don't know how many people would imagine this guy be like, oh yeah, this is a guy, like, they do all those flips and stuff, right? Like, JJ Woods he stands out so far from just everybody else.
He doesn't scream free running, that's for sure.
Yeah, but I like it. Like, JJ Woods knows that he's a big tank type dude, and he does these crazy power type moves that nobody else does.
Yeah, he's very cool to watch. As this ran, this was in the alley again, so I can think we didn't mention in the last episode. They kind of move around the city, so the last episodes 1 and 2 were in different places. This is all set in an alley, and this one they ran at night on top of the fact that it's in this weird, rain-covered alley. They did it at night just to really mess with people. And Levi Meeuwenberg was practicing, and he fell off the scaffolding from, I would say, mid-level. It wasn't the highest heights that they had, but it wasn't close to the ground, really.
No, it was probably, 8 to 10 feet?
Yeah, it's somewhere in that range, probably.
Even from that distance, he broke his wrist, and this hurts to say, but it just brought me back, and I did the research, and yep, it confirmed my suspicions. Rich, this was the last time we saw Levi Meeuwenberg.
Oh, really? Like, even between, both shows, between A&W and Jump City Seattle?
Yeah. Like, how sad is that? He was killing it in Sasuke. He's killing it in A&W and everything. Top of the world, right? And he's primed to go. He injures himself in Jump City, Seattle. Like, just imagine Joe Morosky or Drew Drechsel, getting all this far, and then they injure themselves and they sit out next season, and then they're gone from existence. That's pretty much what happened here. He injured himself. He was out the next season because he couldn't compete in A&W. It was too close to filming. The following year, he was working on a movie. I forget which movie, but it was a big budget movie. And he couldn't take time out of his schedule to compete in A&W. And from there, he went off into the sunset onto his farm and never competed in anything again. So the very last competition we saw from Levi Meeuwenberg was him injuring himself at the beginning of Jump City, Seattle.
Practicing.
I blame G4 and everybody on this show for us not getting Levi Meeuwenberg. This is a travesty.
I feel like I need to stress this more because I know as a more modern A&W fan that you're not getting the impact of this. If you're listening at home and you don't understand, Levi was the guy. Like, Levi in the early seasons of A&W was the guy to take it down. He was the guy that went the furthest. He was the guy that everyone else was looking to win it. And he just was gone, just suddenly, very suddenly.
He was the fastest in all the runs. He went the furthest, not only in American Ninja Warrior, but also Sasuke. When they traveled to Sasuke, he was Drew Drechsel. He went the furthest in Sasuke. Everybody in Japan knew him. He was revered, he was respected, and he was beloved. I mean, this was so bad. And he, don't get me wrong, when you see the show, he was the star of this show too. He was the big name. Even Frosti Zernow came from Survivor. I don't think they mentioned once that he came from Survivor, right?
No, they didn't at all.
Yeah, Levi Meeuwenberg was prime star on him, and he injures himself in just the flukiest way. That's just life, though. That kind of stuff happens. But it really makes you question, hey, maybe not have a rained out environment with a bunch of poles where there's no safety nets or pads or anything, just saying.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like do you think the competitors would have taken issue with safety nets and stuff though? They were like, oh, we do this all the time. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure, but at the same time, I mean, there's a reason there's no season 2, man. There's a reason, and it's not ratings. I wholeheartedly believe it. This is
probably it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure certain you have to protect the competitors. You don't need the biggest of bats, but you need something on the ground. Literally, if you fall from anything on this show, you're breaking something. And if you hit your head from a fall on any of these types of things from this show, could you imagine the lawsuits?
Well, I mean, they even showed clips of the previous episodes where Flip, fell from one of the jumps that he did too, right? We nearly had an injury on one of the earlier episodes. It's just not a safe sport to be racing as fast as you possibly can at.
I don't know, man. But I gotta say this. It just really sucks that this is what did Levi Meeuwenberg in. I mean, at the end of the day, really, it's Levi Meeuwenberg's choice, but I'm just saying, it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth that this was the last we saw of him.
Yeah.
Because he was the man. And he had so much potential.
We had to see that fall, I don't know, 6 times probably. They kept showing it over and over again. It was almost like a selling feature of the episode.
After that fall, by the way, everybody was shook. I mean, everybody was worried, and everybody was like, ugh. So, once again, it humanizes everything, and it also puts everything in perspective that this is incredibly dangerous. But, I don't know. After that, it's all blur. It's oh my god, Levi Meeuwenberg severely injured himself.
Yeah, the rest of the episode kind of flies by, doesn't it? The Brian Orosco steps up as kind of the leader of Tempest because Tempest is considered one of the favorites, but they just lost what is essentially their team captain, right? Levi was the golden boy of Tempest, and for him to leave with an injury, it made everybody else slow down. Everyone else was terrified now, oh god, I'm going to injure myself in this course. If Levi did, anybody can fall and hurt themselves at the very least. But Brian Orosco did a good job. He did a fantastic job on his run. We saw a couple of good solid runs through the whole episode. I don't know. There's not a whole lot to say. If you check it out, it's great. You can see lots of cool flips and weird tricks and things you haven't seen before. Even more so for those that just watch ANW, there's not a whole lot of room for improvisation. We'll see like some people like do backflips off the wall. We've seen Drew do that. We've seen Drew do that, and we've seen like, you know, Noah Kaufman like grab hold of it and just kind of like do a fist pump. Those are minor compared to these crazy flips and weird things that these guys are doing.
Yeah. I don't know. I like the different styles. JJ Wood's got a completely different style from everybody else. Flip's got a different style from everybody else. It is interesting that Miami Freerunning, the Young Guns, did get beat twice. But I do like the fact that, you know, Tempest, which is the big favorites, even losing the team captain, they still were able to rally and get the win and still be very technical in doing so.
Yeah, and for those that are looking for familiar faces, JJ Woods had a great run. He needed a 9.1 to kind of pull it home for his team, which was unprecedented. No one else had to even come close to that. He did an 8.3 though, which he did like a handstand. He was clapping his feet, all kinds of nice little touches. It was very cool stuff.
Yeah. So, Rich, I give you 3 guesses of what Frosti is doing right now. Or like, I'll even give you a better hint. He's still in free running. What's he doing in free running?
Is he stuntman?
No. I mean, maybe, but from what I understand, no.
That's not his primary.
Yeah, it's not his main calling.
Gotcha. Doing free running. I don't know. Is he a delivery man? What else does free running give you? Does he do pizza delivery?
He's on a certain team.
He's on a team.
Yeah.
A free running team, but not really free running, whatever it is.
Like Tribe and Miami Free Running and all that, you know?
Right. I don't know. Is he like an Olympian? I have no idea.
Dude, he's now running for his arch rivals. He's now part of Team Tempest.
Oh. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, he's part of the Tempest professional running team. He's teammates with Jesse LaFleur, which is really interesting. But I just went to Tempest Free Running I just went to Tempest Free Running's website, right? And they're really big with like MTV or whatever. They're like the primetime big, you know, free running team and everything.
Those are the ones I actually knew of. Like, they're the only ones I'd heard of.
They made a name for themselves more and more over the years, right? Where the other ones have kind of faded off into different things. Frosti, Jesse LaFleur are part of the pro team. They also have something called the action team. This is really interesting. I think this action team, from what I'm guessing, are the stuntmen, you know, things like that actually compete in movie or like do movies and things. Right. A lot of big names part of this. Let me list them off for y'all, and you guys are gonna recognize these: Brent Stephenson, Brian Orosco, Rich King, Shane Daniels, Lucy Romberg. All of these people are from ANW. Right. So real interesting. They're part of this. I'm not really sure how much affiliated they are because I don't think I've ever heard Brent Stephenson once bring up the name Tempest, but he's part of this team.
Yeah, I actually knew that. I wish you had asked me ahead of time. I would have totally told you that. Yeah, I knew Brian was part of the Tempest team.
Oh, I had no idea, man.
I think it was probably when I was looking for like sponsors for the show, when I was looking for who was affiliated with different things. But yeah, I've seen that part before. No, it's interesting. That's really interesting. Speaking of Jesse LaFleur, and this is totally an aside, but I feel like it's worth mentioning. I was browsing through YouTube the other day, and Jesse has a fantastic view of the Wolfpack tour. Like, if you want to really get a sense of what the Wolfpack tour was like, check out Jesse LaFleur's YouTube channel. It's very, very cool. I'll throw a link in the description and you can see for yourself. Like, he breaks it down really well. He kind of like a back scenes thing. He has a lot of interaction with Evan Dollard. Like, really cool. Very, very cool stuff.
Nice, man.
But besides that, I have to mention, again, we did mention it last week, Ultimate Beastmaster is coming up, and I am so freaking excited for season 2.
Oh my god, I'm so ready. Like, this show is going to be so freaking amazing. I mean, we're going to have a preview episode coming up, guys, but just going into it and everything I'm reading and everything I'm seeing, this is going to be, like, they're learning, they took all the feedback that they got from the first season, and they're just improving it tenfold, and I think this is going to be so incredibly fun.
Yeah, they're going to keep some of the best judges that they had. South Korea is back, which I'm sure we're both very excited for.
Oh my god. Go Team South Korea. I don't care about anything else. I just needed those hosts back.
I don't even care who the athletes are. The hosts for South Korea made the first season. And Brazil.
Dude, that's all, like, you think freaking Ultimate Beastmaster, you think the hosts, and particularly South Korea, yeah, Brazil was amazing also. Anderson Silva and his co-hosts, they were so fun.
They were great. I was so happy. I think Dave Broom, who had joined us on the podcast, one of the creator of the show, I think he mentioned that South Korea would be back, but I didn't know Brazil would be back, which I was so excited to see because I love those guys. I think they were fantastic. So we're going to get some new judges. We're going to have a new American judges.
A lot of countries represented, man.
Yeah, the countries have changed up a lot. So we'll preview all that. We're not going to get into all that right now. But we'll talk about the new judges and what the new teams we're going to see. But pretty excited. And for those that haven't seen Ultimate Beastmaster, take the next couple weeks before this comes out and go watch it. Go find it. If you got Netflix, go see Ultimate Beastmaster. It is a very, very cool show. If you like
you will
ANW,
not be disappointed. I mean, so good.
So, like, UK Ninja Warrior, total garbage. But Ultimate Beastmaster, if you love ANW, you will love Ultimate Beastmaster.
It's like a perfect, like, compliment to AEW. Like, most people would argue, and I agree, Team Ninja Warrior is a very good compliment to AEW. Ultimate Beastmaster is right up there with them. Really so. Like, it's just, it's a different approach to the sport, and so fun in every aspect, including things that, you know, AEW is fun at, but it's just different. The hosting, the presentation, the dynamics, the way it's kind of like a video game. The way the points work, the personalities, like, it is so different, but yet so incredibly fun in different ways. I mean, I love everything about it. And this is just going to be, I am so jubilant. And please, if you haven't seen Ultimate Beastmaster, I cannot recommend it enough. You will not be disappointed.
Yeah, it lagged mid-season, but that was
it did not lag one bit throughout the entire season.
You never got bored of it. I kind of did somewhere in mid-season, but like, the beginning was amazing, the ending was amazing. Somewhere in the middle, I kind of got lost interest a little bit, but overall, fantastic. Like, it's so great. Lots of cool things. I love the scoring system. I love the course. I think it was great.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to delve more into, like, what changes might have happened to the course and everything else. But we're gonna hit that up in the following upcoming weeks. Remember, guys, season 2 comes out December 15th. It's not far away. It's literally 2 weeks away. So expect our preview episode coming up real soon. We're gonna get as much information as possible and break it all down for you. In the meantime, in the show notes, I know Rich is gonna hook you up with this. There's a trailer out for season 2. Watch it. Get hyped.
Yeah, very, very cool stuff. And before we wrap up this episode, I got to mention we're not going to do a National Ninja League episode this time around, but we do have to mention that Movement Lab New Jersey, that's Chris Wilczewski's gym, did like a very long form, multi-part, like, live coverage of one of their competitions. And they had Najee Richardson doing the commentary.
Really good at it.
Really, really good at it. Like, I was, like, as much as I like Najee, I didn't know how he would do a commentary when I had, thankfully, Daniel, one of our listeners, messaged me to say that, you know, this was something I should check out. He's totally right. Najee is fantastic at commentary.
Yeah, it was good. It reminded me a lot of, like, X Games commentators, right? And going with the flow, getting excited, but being very knowledgeable with like what they're calling everything, and being very personable with not only the people competing, but also like the peers around them. And he was just very fun to listen to. He brought a lot of excitement to each and every run. And the course was pretty legit too, so it was fun. We'll get into that, when we actually cover that whole portion. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. If you want to watch like a fun side competition with good commentary, this is the good stuff for you.
Yeah, it made me think like we gotta get Najee on here, like totally. Like I really hadn't thought of Najee's voice.
Why haven't we had Najee's on this podcast, man?
I have no idea.
Let's get on that.
Like I gotta get on that. So I think that's what we'll do. It's weird to bring them on. Like, I think we did that to the Wolfpack last year. Like, hey, come on and talk about Ultimate Beastmaster with us. It's like a little awkward to kind of ask them to come do that, but we'll see. Maybe it'll happen.
Yeah, well.
Otherwise, we'll have to wait a while, right? Well, the thing is, we get an Ultimate Beastmaster for like the next month or two, right? So it's like,
I can't wait.
We'll have to wait for with spring, maybe. We'll see.
Nothing fills me with joy more than you saying that.
Yeah.
These upcoming months, y'all, are going to be so fun. I hope y'all are ready. We are going to have some fun times on this podcast.
Ultimate Beastmaster coming up. And if you'd like to reach out to me, you can reach me as rich@ninjapodcast.com. I am at Ninja Podcast on both Twitter and Instagram. And Bijan, how can they reach you?
Hit me up at Twitter and Instagram at Bijan151. That is Bijan 151. Watch me do some ninja obstacles.
All right. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you have a fantastic week.
Peace and love, y'all.